Good morning, your financial independence viewers. I hope you are having a blessed morning. Today, we got a little bit of news, not really about Hyliion, but around the market of renewable natural gas that I wanted to hit on. There's some very good quotes that kind of can give you a perspective about how the RNG market is going, how much growth that they're actually seeing. So, without further ado, before we get into this, make sure you smash the subscribe button. Like, comment down below. Now let's get into this content. So if you didn't see it, I'll add a player card somewhere around in the video. But we done a video basically about the trial that Hyliion basically gave these three companies three hybrid versions, day cab versions of the truck, and they all came back with very positive feedback. And you can see from this article right here, we just done a video about that. So this is another article that got listed on Thomas Healy's Twitter page, is where I'm getting a lot of this information at. And he's posting some very good content on there and some pretty funny stuff with like him in an astronaut suit and then a Hyliion logo on the moon. Pretty hilarious. So this article, and this is going to be a lot of reading, so sorry, I'm going to be looking at my computer right here so I don't miss anything. So, California Clean Fuel Standard sparks renewable gas boom in the Midwest. California's low-carbon fuel standard is driving the development for dairy farms, and this is basically like all these biogas collects. They're booming in the Midwest from the California markets because they see how much revenue and how much potential this market has in the future. So 2 decades ago, Wholesome Dairies installed the first anaerobic digester, however you want to say that. But basically, it gets the cow manure, kind of heats it up and digests it down, and then when it heats up, it releases a lot of gas. And this is what they catch, that way they can fuel their generators. So California market is the biggest driver for sure. So he also estimates the northeastern Wisconsin dairy will receive 3 to 5 times more revenue from selling the RNG to the environmental or for its environmental benefits than it did from electricity sales from the local utilities. So one important thing that we're going to start seeing here, so think about the diesel trucks nowadays, and I mean, I guess you could apply it to pickup trucks and stuff like that, but around the diesel trucks nowadays, so California, the Air Resource Board adopted the low carbon fuel standard back in 2009, which seeks to basically slash the carbon intensity of these fuels every single year. That way they can decrease 20% by 2030. So each year it's getting more strict. Look at how much technology, like how much more stuff can we put on diesel engines. I mean, we already have EGRs, which basically get the exhaust and put it back through the intake, or they cool it down and it goes back in the intake. All this nasty, basically exhaust with all the soot and all, it goes right back in the engine. And then you have DPF filters that clog up all the time. That basically is a diesel particulate filter. After all that, it still goes through a filter before it goes out the exhaust. And then you have DEF fluid and stuff like that. That's I want to say it's a nitric kind of fluid, but basically it cleans out the exhaust. That way you don't have any soot really coming out of the diesel truck. So we already adopted so many standards. The aerodynamics have improved on these semis. You don't see any of the long hoods, long hood trucks in these trucking fleets, because they're trying to do as much as they can to adopt these standards. But you can only put so much technology on all these semis, and restrict the engine so much. They're already starting. They've been having problems with all the EGRs and all, and it's starting to get a little bit better. But you can only do so much until eventually, we need to change up. We need to go to electric or start burning natural gas. They're going to have to start adopting these standards, especially in California, which is a very big trucking market because a lot of people live out there. And that's how the world turns, really, when you're talking about getting goods to stores like Walmart, Costco. It takes a lot of semi-trucks to do that. So fuels are value-based on a formula developed by this company, a laboratory that they run. Renewable natural gas from landfills, wastewater sludge, and food are green waste and have lower carbon intensities than any fossil fuel there is. Thus, they have the highest value credits. So all this stuff that RNG comes from, you get more credits from the government, from states, all that good stuff. That's going to be a really good tax incentive for a lot of these companies that are early adopters of this technology. This is a phenomenal quote, and it kind of, like, if you really think about it, it kind of blows your mind. So we're seeing more projects this year than we saw in the first 30 years of the organization's existence. So basically, this year alone, or in 2020, they saw more growth, and this was when the pandemic was happening, and people wasn't working a lot, states were shut down. They still saw more growth in 2020 than they did the first 30 years. So you can kind of see this transition in that we're going to. And this applies to Hyliion a lot, because one of the biggest factors right now, there's not enough renewable natural gas to go around. I mean, sure, yeah, there's enough for maybe 2, maybe 3 decently sized semi fleets, that have a couple hundred trucks to transition to all renewable natural gas. But if you were to take all the trucks on the trucking market right now, which is that's a lot of semi trucks, if they were all to go towards RNG, we wouldn't have enough of it. They would have to burn natural gas, which is still a lot cleaner than diesel. You still get all the benefits of the Hyliion powertrain system, the electrification of the semi trucks, but we don't have enough renewable natural gas, and that's what makes it net carbon negative. But you can see the amount of growth that we're having in 2020, more of these facilities that got built than the first 30 years. And they're still, we're just now getting the cherry on top, or whatever kind of, thing you want to throw in there. We're just now getting into the market. There's so much untapped potential for this market. There's so many landfills, dairy farms, agriculture in general. That's going to be a very big one. It's a lot of untapped potential out there. So according to the California Air Resource Board, about 90% of natural gas sold for transportation in the state last year was offset with renewable natural gas, pushing the overall weighted carbon intensity value of natural gas vehicles below zero for the first time in history. So for the first time in history, we had enough renewable natural gas that it even took away from the natural gas vehicles, and now we're actually, for the first time in history, below a net carbon negative solution. So it's better for these vehicles to actually burn this product than to release it in the air. And this is through all the processes. They even include all the carbon that it took to build these facilities, all the forklifts running around and all the raw goods like iron and stuff being put in place. So this is making history, literally. This is very good news. So the Coalition for Renewable Natural Gas and Natural Gas Vehicles for America released data showing that last year, more than half of on-road fuel used by natural gas-fueled vehicles nationally came from renewable natural gas. The two organizations said renewable gas consumption for transportation fuel jumped 267% in the past 5 years. 267%. That's amazing. A lot of these companies are adopting RNG because they see all the tax incentives. They want to help the environment, and they still get to point A to point B the same way. So why not use it? And it's cheaper than fuel. So a lot of these companies that are early adopters of this technology, they're gonna be holding some nice profits. That's all I gotta say about that. And you're helping the environment, so it's a win-win. So I basically summarized this whole video because I don't want it to be too long. I know y'all got other stuff to do out there. Make sure you subscribe, like, and comment. But if you do want to go on the Twitter on Thomas Hyliion, and you can see it's basically his newest article that he posted, and you can go through there and read all of it. It's actually very value-packed information. I tried to get the main gist of the article in this video. So I hope y'all enjoyed this nice overview of how the RNG market's going and how this is going to benefit Hyliion and any kind of companies that are early adopters of this technology. I hope you all are having a great day. Happy Memorial Day, and see me back on the next video.